Elon, how are you?
Good, Mario. Yeah, it's been these are tumultuous times, wild times indeed. As you just mentioned, when there's an account with a large number of followers that is restored to the system, you have to re-knit the thing together. So that takes several hours. So Alex's account should be working. And Alex, I honestly don't really know you and you don't know me, but one of the questions I really have to just get out of the way, and you've probably talked about this already before, is the whole Sandy Hook thing. If somebody's sort of denying or that murders of children, that's not cool at all. And so just what exactly did you say, and what is going on with that situation? I would like to actually hear what did you say, and yeah.
Well, Elon, thank you for allowing me back into the public square so that I can actually tell the world what really happened. I don't know how much would you like the short answer or the medium
Well,
answer or the long answer?
I think at least the medium answer. I look, I guess people just want to know, like, obviously it would be like heartless and cruel to deny a school shooting of children or to attack the parents or anyone who is involved. It seems that that would be, just incredibly mean and cruel, frankly. So it's sort of, that's, I think, what a lot of people are upset about, or at least they think that is the reason to be upset about.
Sure.
And, if that were true, I think we would rightly be, upset with you.
Yeah, yes, sir. Well, please let me then just tell you what really happened. Okay. And if you want me to send you a dossier with clips and videos and articles,
I mean, post it to your
okay,
account.
yes, sir, I will do that. So let me tell you what happened. I'm a guy that didn't go to college. I mean, a few years of community college. I started out on Access TV 29 years ago. I was not professionally trained. And by 2000, I had 30 million viewers and listeners a day conservatively. I was the biggest show, as big as Rogan is now or bigger. And I had a very small operation and did not even understand how powerful I was. And so when that event, I just call it the school shooting, which I do believe happened 11 years ago, the internet exploded and it was a top story for off and on for years with all these professors and former school safety people and all of them saying they believed it was a drill. And I simply covered them covering that. What was entered in court against me in both cases where I was found guilty by judges. There's a judge in Trump's case, not even a jury, in his real estate case. And then years later, after Trump got elected and after I was deplatformed, it made me bigger. And so suddenly I would wake up and there would be sometimes 100 articles or more a day, every major news channel saying that I was currently saying nobody died, currently sending people to their houses, currently peeing on graves. I didn't even know these people's names. I only said one of their names ever. Now, and I believe their children died, and I
Okay.
understand all that.
Okay.
But I'm saying, imagine I was not deplatformed, no mention of the school shooting in Connecticut for like 6, 7 years. Then they go back to my timeline, and it turns out it was a big New York PR firm, Democratic Party. They dredge it up. They run hundreds of articles, sometimes a day, but a week for over a year. Suddenly it becomes a big story again.
What's the PR
Then
firm?
people, pardon me?
Which propaganda firm was this? PR is public relations is a propaganda word for propaganda. So I think we should call
Yes,
this propaganda firms because that is in fact what they do. So what
yes.
propaganda firm was this?
I will find the name as soon as I'm off because I can't do 2 days. I'm not good at doing 2 days at once. I can't walk and chew bubble gum, but I will post it to the 2X because after they got their $1.5 billion judgment and asked for 2.67 trillion, that the GDP of India, I'm not joking, folks, that's Bloomberg. They then came out and bragged that they had quarterbacked the whole thing. They're one of the biggest. They do the UN's PR.
Okay.
And not that they had quarterbacked, quote, destroying Alex Jones. And so I did question it. I did say at times I could see that. I'm not even say it now. They'll take it out of context, say I said it again. I did have what they entered in court on me was 23 minutes of video and audio over 5, 6 years. We did an audit. I hadn't talked about them when they sued me for 2 years. I refused to talk about it. I apologized when the PR firm got involved, and I didn't know who it was at the time. It was just all over the news. I said, hey, I thought it happened.
Yeah.
I said it happened. I said it happened. I decided it happened 5 years after it happened. So I said, I'm not the Sandy Hook guy. It turns out some of these experts that said it didn't happen are crazy. They made up stuff. I said, I believe it happened. And then they spun it and said, oh, now he admits he lied about it. So it isn't who I was. It's kind of like they've done with you, and you did nothing like I did. I mean, I did question it. I did say a few times that I thought it hadn't happened, but I didn't turn the knife. I didn't really think about it. I thought about how I was talking about the internet with YouTube
Yeah.
videos with 30, 40 million views that I didn't make.
Sure.
It was a hot
Okay.
topic that would come back from time to time. But no, I was not the creator of it. I was not the progenitor of it. I was not the guy pushing it. And then I kept saying, no, I believe it happened. And they went, aha, you now admit you lied for money. So what's not true is I never made any money off of it. I barely ever covered it. It's not my identity. And it's just like they misrepresent what you say, take one little thing and twist it, and then say you need to apologize for it. And then they just keep hammering it and hammering it. So I've been desperately, I mean, in fact, I'll post it to X if you want. There's over 100 apologies that I've given, over 100. In fact, probably 500. Every show I go on, they ask this. I apologized on Joe Rogan's show 5 years ago. I apologized on Patrick Ben-David's show 5 years ago. I mean, these are prominent ones. I apologize
Sure.
on every show, and I'll say it again. I apologize that I just gave my commentary because I'm really just a guy that talk radio host. So I do that on the internet. I just take calls, interview guests, and that I played devil's advocate. And if that hurt people's feelings, I apologize. But I did not send people to your houses. I did not pee on graves. I don't know any of the stuff that went on. And then when they had the trials, after I was found guilty, trials on damages, there was never any video of people peeing on graves, any video of people at houses. There was an FBI agent who was there that day at the tragic event in New Haven, Connecticut, with Sandy, like I said the name. He was there and he didn't have an FBI vest on and his gun was pointed the wrong direction, pointed upside down. The internet questioned him. When he got on the stand in Connecticut, my lawyer said, has Mr. Jones ever said your name? No. Has Mr. Jones ever put your picture on the internet? No. Have any of his hosts done it? No. Has InfoWars ever put your picture out or said your name? No. What happened to you, sir? One man, he said, called 8 years ago now and asked me if I was really an FBI agent. The jury gave him $94 million that doesn't exist. $94 million that never said his name. So I challenge people to find me say any of their names. I said one guy's name and I apologized to him on the stand. The thing had probably 100 million views on 5 or 6 different YouTube videos of him smiling and laughing before he walked to the mic. I played the clip one time and said, yeah, that looks like he's an actor. I did not attack him, did not come after him, did not say his child didn't die. Look, I don't want to fight with him, though. I said to them in a deposition, I said, I will chop my pinky finger off with a meat cleaver right now. And I will. If you'll just leave me alone and stop saying I made hundreds of millions of dollars off of you and stop saying I'm attacking you. So it's very simple. I have become, and I know what happened. The media ran a year of articles attacking them in my name, saying things I never said as a straw man, enraging them against me. And then, so they've been victimized. They've been manipulated by a PR operation. And so I would love to come on X with the families. I'd love to raise money on this show or your show, Elon, or any of them. I'd love to come on here and raise them $10 million for gun safety awareness next week. I would love to be in an open panel with them. I would love.
Okay. It actually looks like Ed Krasenstein wants to talk. Maybe Ed, could be good to hear from you.
Yeah, so I kind of have a question for you, Elon. So let's say
Well,
that
okay. I mean, this is not an
no, no,
opportunity to interview me.
no, it's in regards to Alex Jones though.
Okay.
It's related. So
Okay.
let's say Alex Jones or somebody else does the same thing, but clearly directly claims that a school shooting did not take place when we know it did. Does that future person or Alex Jones get banned, or is the new policy that they remain?
We need to look at the circumstances there. Like, we're trying to follow here is to obey the law. So obey the laws of the United States, obey the laws of the countries in which X is present, and really do our best to not go beyond the law on the premise that if the people wish the law to be different, then the people will ask their representatives or their leaders to change the law. But otherwise, our goal is to hew as closely to the law as possible. So if somebody says something that is unlawful, then we will take action. If someone does not do something that is unlawful, then we would aspire to not take action. If the laws change, of course, then we will adjust our behavior accordingly. So that's sort of the general approach that we're taking. And now that we have community notes, which, while it's not perfect, I think it's the best fact checking that I've seen on the internet. And so if someone were to post false information, they can be community noted. And, it's always important to say, like, no fact checking system is perfect. If perfection is the standard, you can just basically dispense with all fact checking because nothing will be perfect. But really, it's really how good is the batting average of any fact checking system. My observation of community notes is that the batting average, the probability that the note is correct is very high, much better than anything else that I've seen on the internet. and everything in community notes, the code, the data, everything is open source. So you can independently recreate the outcome of any note as a third party. So it's full transparency. So I think that having the community notes capability is a very powerful. It's the most powerful disinformation weapon that I'm, for actually combating disinformation.
I agree.
Yeah.
Can I throw something in real quick here? Look, this is why I believe what people were saying and actually questioned and for a little while thought it might not have happened. We were lied to about WMDs in Iraq. We were lied to about anthrax in Iraq. There was Operation Northwoods. There was Operation Northwoods in 2000. ABC News, declassified. The U.S. government planned to stage fake mass shootings and blowing up airlines with people that would take off and would land, CIA, and then they would actually just blow up a drone plane and then claim a mass event had happened or claim a mass fake shooting happened. So Jussie Smollett lied about what he did. Hezbollah and Hamas, Hezbollah ran it, did kill a lot of Israelis, condemned the attack, but it wasn't true that they cut a bunch of kids' heads off. Even the White House and Israel has to admit that. Well, people came out and said they didn't believe that there was proof that Hamas cut heads off. So the establishment view was they did cut heads off. They didn't. So how do we penalize people if somebody wants to believe the earth's flat, they have a right to, and the community notes and everybody else can challenge them. But it's the establishment lying so much that makes people not believe anything. And then they lose faith in everything. I'm actually worried about this because a lot of my audience is so disillusioned. They think I'm an agent or something too. I'm not. So I don't know how we handle this, but I think the government and the media and the think tanks and the PR firms, the propaganda firms, as Elon rightfully said, have been lying professionally so much they've poisoned the well where no one knows what to believe. They've created a smokescreen. And so I don't know how we deal with that other than getting the community.
Alex, I just want to be clear, Hamas does have a habit of cutting off heads. They're quite proud of cutting off heads. This particular circumstance, perhaps there is some uncertainty, but they do cut off a lot of heads. And there's no question about that. And they appear to be quite jubilant. They're quite happy when they cut these heads off.
I don't like Hamas. I don't like the Muslim Brotherhood. I don't like Hezbollah. You're right. That is a hallmark.
They're proud of cutting off heads, is my observation.
No, and I agree. Yosemite Sam, his hallmark is shooting his guns and a red beard and he's short. Hamas's calling card is cutting off heads. I totally agree, but I'm saying
they do that a lot.
You're right.
Yeah.
Elon, do you mind if I jump in for a second?
Hold on. Yeah, go to you right after.
Yeah, guys,
I'm going to go to you right after Vivek. Yeah, go ahead, Vivek.
I just wanted to, share one thought in response to Ed's question, which is, let's take the content of whatever speech it was that's issue off the table, kids being shot in schools or otherwise. I think there's two kinds of ways to worry if you're worried about the spread of misinformation or false facts. One is let's deal with the content of the speech itself. And Elon talked about community notes as being imperfect, though it is maybe the best method out there on the internet. And I think that's one set of discussions to have. That's quite a different thing from what the law certainly looks at as the most draconian First Amendment violation, which is what it calls a prior restraint, which is to previously just restrain a person from speaking, period. And I think that is, no matter what the content of the speech is, it's quite a different thing to say that because of who you are or what you have said in the past, you may not say another thing in the future. And so I just think that those are two different concepts. And I just, for one, just wanted to share my experience of my Alex Jones experience, if I may.
That is perfectly said. Yeah. That's because you don't cut somebody's tongue out.
Yeah.
Even if I did bad things in the past. And
but you know what? But if people say false things, they deserve to have the consequences for that particular speech aired out in the marketplace of opinions. And, community notes is one feature of doing that. And I think that's a legitimate discussion to have. But the idea, first of all, let's just make the observation that if somebody has once said a bad thing, then they'd be restrained from speaking. Most people who have been in a position of prominence in the U.S. federal government would not be allowed to speak again in other forums if that was the standard we were applying. Right. I mean, you think about anybody who's been in the CIA or the FBI in a position of saying that the Hunter Biden laptop story was false or COVID didn't start in a lab in China. So we could go down that whole rabbit hole. But,
Well, yeah. I mean, as Alex said earlier, and this is not meant to be any kind of attack on George Bush, but George Bush II did say that there were WMDs in Iraq. He said it not once, but many times. And that,
and a lot.
He did not have sufficient evidence to make that.
And a lot more people died as a consequence of that statement.